It's not all about business. When you travel to South Africa, there's also pleasure, and it's captured in its tourism package. That's what we're bringing to you on this episode of Travel Guide. We're going to some cities in South Africa that concentrate on tourism, and it's time to enjoy the tourism of South Africa on Travel Guide on Channels Television. It's a country made up of 9 provinces. With 2,798 kilometers of coastline on the South Atlantic and Indian Oceans. About 79.5% of the about 52 million population of South Africa are Black African ancestry. It's a country with multi-ethnic and has diverse cultures and languages. 11 official languages are recognized in the Constitution. 2 of these languages are of European origin: South African English and Afrikaans, a language which originated mainly from the Dutch. In KwaZulu-Natal, the largest city, Durban, with a land area of 94,361 kilometers square, is the 3rd and largest city in the country. Its infrastructural development and bountiful natural spans of greenery makes the city's warm subtropical climate even more attractive for tourism. Durban is also famous for being the busiest port in South Africa. There's also the Eastern Cape Province with 168,966 square kilometers, which is about 14% of the total area of the country. This region is the birthplace of many prominent South African politicians, such as Nelson Mandela. The major city, Port Elizabeth, was founded as a town in 1820 to house British settlers and as a way of strengthening the border between the region of the Cape Colony and Xhosa. The city has over time acquired a lot of nicknames.
got some different nicknames. One, we call it Friendly City. I used to tease people by saying the reason for that is simply because 99.9% of the people that you get in Port Elizabeth are friendly, and I'm the only 1% who's unfriendly. The second one, we call it the Windy City, let alone that now we've got a nice good weather simply because I've spoken to the men above. And thirdly, we call it the 10-minute city. The reason for that is simply because wherever you go around Port Elizabeth, it takes you 10 minutes, except for our airport, 5 minutes. And because of the World Cup, what we did, we built up a new stadium. Now we also have another new nickname, Sport Elizabeth, as opposed to Port Elizabeth. And lastly, good people, we also call it the Detroit of South Africa, simply because of the motor industries that we have. We're talking of GM, we're talking of Ford, and we're talking of VW.
It boasts of a considerable portion of commercial activities, especially at the harbour, in connection with automobile sales and servicing. Port Elizabeth has its own share of tales of apartheid, which has marked the history of the country. The area witnessed forced relocation of the non-white population under the Group Areas Act, which began in 1962, causing various townships to be built. The story is captured and displayed in the Red Location Museum.
These structures actually, they are symbolizing actually the red location, the place actually where people were staying, and the houses actually were built by corrugated iron. And as it go, along the years, it started, to rust. And it gave actually that red color. So they actually call it red location. So that's why the baptism actually comes from.
Red Location Museum opened in 2006 and has since then recorded an average of 1,000 tourists a week. The area of the museum, New Praiti, having survived the apartheid, houses a people of simple lifestyle. One of the common sights in the area is a local restaurant where common delicacy, which is cow meat, is sold in both its raw and cooked form. A plate of cooked meat goes for 30 rand and is eaten with bread as either breakfast or lunch. A few minutes drive away from this area is Duncan Reserve Park. It is essentially a small open public place which was proclaimed by the founder of the city, Sir Rufin Duncan, after his arrival in 1820. The pyramid-shaped structure bears a plaque with the inscription, "To the memory of one of the most perfect of human beings who has given her name to the town below."
Welcome aboard.
Pirate Air, Wings of Nigeria.
Of the 9 provinces of South Africa, one of the most popular is the Western Cape, an area of 129,462 square kilometers. The provincial capital and second most populous city in South Africa, Cape Town, forms a large part of the province. It is also the legislative capital of the country. It stretches about 400 kilometers northwards along the Atlantic coast and about 500 kilometers eastwards along the Indian Ocean. Because of this, waterfront is a treasure in the city, increasing the influx of visitors and boosting tourism.
In order to get a job in Cape Town, you need to have a tour guiding license. You need to write the exams and to know the history. South African tourism, localized, whether it's being Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Port Elizabeth, anywhere in South Africa, localized tourism councils want the tourism to be done by the locals. That means if a person from Johannesburg cannot come and do a tour guiding course or do any form of tour guiding in Cape Town if you are from another part of South Africa. You need to know the history, you need to know the cultures, you need to know the shortcuts, you need to know about the roadworks, you need to know how to get around the roadworks and how to best sell yourself.
Table Mountain, a flat-topped mountain seen from almost all parts of the state, is another attraction for tourists. Traveling to the top has been made quite easy with paved-out paths from the heart of the city and requires about 10 minutes drive. The peak of the mountain is accessed through the use of cable cars, and the area is rarely empty as tourists are constantly in sight. The city itself holds its story and pleasure to the eyes. One of such is in its busiest area, Long Street. As the name implies, the longest street in the city, measuring
music, have our CD, we must have our clothing range also and our clothing line, fashion, accessories for the youngsters today, you see, not only for old people like us.
So I was doing the printing, and that is on the album too. It's the same design on the album. Well, that one is my one, out of my own.
Still along the streets are important monuments such as the Slave Lodge, which used to be a market for slaves. The most popular feature of Cape Town, however, is the annual Cape Town International Dance Festival. Its 13th edition, bringing thousands of citizens from other parts of the country as well as outside the country. The event showcases both local and international artists.
Nigeria.
I love my job. It's like the most interesting job in the whole wide world. And it's because I have to go to different cities and bring you the tales from there. I hope you enjoyed the tale from South Africa. And next time when we go to another city, we shall bring you a fresh tale from that city on Travel Guide on Channels Television.